Can't believe I'm actually on time for a change. Crazy. First time. I guess there's a first time for everything, right? I'll wait for you guys to come into the room, see what kind of traffic we get this morning. Got some updates on the IDI diesel project we're doing. A little talk about the schedule that we're going to start trying to keep going. So we're going to start doing a Monday, Tuesday, Friday. So Monday, we're going to do nothing but motorcycle content. Hopefully, we'll see how that goes. We're going to start doing teaching Tuesdays. And if you don't know who I am, I'm Go Big. I teach automotive repair, and I've been a mechanic for 40 years. So I made this channel so I could reach out to other people and teach them my knowledge that I have. So we'll see how it goes. Looks like the notification just went out. Welcome to the live. As you come in, if you just put down where you're from and what kind of hot rod you're into, motorcycles, hot rods, trucks. We're going to have an update on the F-250 diesel project we got going on. But we're going to start a schedule. Our schedule's going to be motorcycles on Monday nights. On Tuesday nights, we're going to do teaching. So I'm going to start teaching at a very low level to where just a basic person can learn. So Tuesday nights, we're going to start educational content so we can teach automotive. I've been a mechanic for 40 years. I've done a lot of teaching. So come hang out at the lives on Tuesday nights. We're going to start teaching basic automotive. And we're going to teach it at a very beginner's level, and we'll see where everybody's at. I'm an ESE certified master mechanic. I've been a technician for a very long time. I still work part-time, part-year in the field. And if you've never been to the live, please give us your subscription. We'd appreciate that. And we're just waiting for a few of our normal locals to come in. If you just entered the live, if you would just drop down in there and say where you're from, or what kind of car you drive, or what kind of advice you're looking for. We're going to start doing Tuesday nights. We're going to start teaching basic automotive, electrical, troubleshooting, diagnosis, how to maintain your car, just things that can save you money. There we go. We finally got a bunch of people in. The algorithm finally pumped us out. I'm Go Big. I've been a mechanic for 40 years. This channel evolves around everything automotive. And on Tuesday nights now, we're going to start doing teaching. We're going to do basic teaching, automotive, electrical, diagnosis, troubleshooting. And hey, Maggot. What do you do? I'm going to say a mechanic. You bet, brother. We're going to teach. We're going to learn you how. The guy Maggot, he just came in here. He's a usual. He's quite a character. So anyway, on Tuesday nights now, I'm going to start doing just basic automotive, at a basic level. So those of you that are trying to learn how to fix their cars. And on Tuesday nights, what we'll also do at the end of the teaching, we'll open it up to question and answers for people that have problems with their cars. So if you say, hey, my car's making a funny noise, or how come my car shifts funny, or whatever the question is, and we'll walk you through that just like a technician would in a shop. So if you've never been here before, if you don't mind, give us your subscription. We'd appreciate it. At Go Big, we just kind of do nothing but automotive, and we just shoot the bull in the mornings pretty much. We'll see what's going on, Maggot. What'd you do today? Man, I worked on that F-250 all day yesterday, and I got the fuel system all wrapped up. I'm getting too old to be leaning over those. Hey, how's the sound, by the way? I switched up my audio. Let me know if it's blaring or if it sounds funny. I moved my mic. I did some research on my audio, and they say you should be closer to the mic. So I got it on a boom now. So it's like 6 inches from me. So it should sound better. Watch vegetables grow. Nothing wrong with that, brother. Nothing wrong with that at all. I'm going to get a schedule going for the lives now. So we're going to do Monday, Tuesdays, Fridays. Mondays, we're going to do nothing but motorcycle talk. Tuesdays, we're going to do teaching. And then on Fridays, we'll do the contest where we give away the tools at the end. If you guys just came in, if you would just drop in the comment hello or something so we know you're here. And in the mornings, we just kind of shoot the bull about all automotive things, in the mornings. In the evenings, it's more structured about, I was just telling Maggie, on Tuesdays, I'm going to start teaching an automotive class on Tuesday nights. So if you're wanting to learn about automotive or you've got a car and you're just trying to learn things about it, come check us out on Tuesday nights for sure. Hey, Maggie, what do you think about 7 to 7 p.m. on the nights? That's probably pretty early your time, huh? Maggot, he's from Australia. He tells me, he says Australia. He's from Australia down under. Anyway, if you've just never been here before, drop a comment, say hello, say what kind of Harley you ride or what kind of hot rod you have or what kind of car you're into, and become part of the crew here. Good group of guys here, man. We'll walk you. If you got a problem with your car, we can walk you through it and figure it out usually. We had a guy, the other day, did you hear the guy that has a problem with his push start on his little four-wheeler, his three-wheeler, Doc Mojo? Yeah, I haven't heard back from him, but hopefully we walked him through that. And then there was another guy that had a problem with a draw on his tractor we helped him with. Well, I don't know if we helped him, but he figured it out. He ended up saying was being resistance at the starter, which is kind of an odd one. He said it was drawing current at the starter. So when you disconnect the starter cable, it went away. So he cleaned it up and the draw went away. Anyway, I'm going to talk about a couple little things. If you've never been here before, say hello if you don't mind. If you don't mind giving us your subscriptions, we do automotive content. We're going to start doing motorcycle Mondays. Tuesdays we'll do teaching, and then on Fridays we do automotive trivia, and we give away a free tool every Friday night. So if you haven't done that before, it's kind of fun. We just do questions and answers. Actually, Maggot just won a snap-on wrench the other night. He's won twice now. I think he's got it rigged somehow. I don't know. Maybe he's got that Google on like steroids or something. I don't know if you guys were around when I had my eye operated on, but I got an update on my eyeball yesterday or the other day. Crap, a leg prop for working in the engine bay overhead. I just lay down, arms hanging. Yeah, I got to do that. Actually, you know what took me so long yesterday? I made a video of my repair. Man, it takes forever. Because every step you got to stop and get the camera set up so they can see what you're doing, and then the next step. And so you're up and down to get the camera. It took me like twice as long. So I resealed the top hats. I don't know if you guys know what top hats are. On the 7.3 diesel, they have on the top of the injectors, they got these little plastic things with O-rings in them, and the O-rings dry up, and then you get a fuel leak on the top. And that's what I had. I had a fuel leak. Every once in a while it would drip underneath the truck. So I said, heck with it, I'll just do them all. So I got a Delphi kit to do it. But man, I tell you what, when you're trying to film that, it takes forever. Because you got to I'm going to build a boom that goes across over the hood with a magnetic base where I can move my lighting around and just be able to move the camera wherever I need it. Because you're trying to prop it up and, it's really difficult when you're working and you're trying to work with one hand, trying to film. It's hard enough with two hands, but trying to work with one hand makes it really difficult. Oh, here's some good news, or new news anyway. We're starting to load these as a podcast as well. So I found a way we can load the lives as a podcast, and we'll see if we get any kind of traction with that. Our views have really dropped off. but I don't pay attention to the numbers anymore. Like right now, you look and there's only 3 people in the room. I don't even pay attention to it anymore because it's just like it takes time, to get a channel going. I've been telling people around town about my mechanical quiz abilities. Hell, good, man. Good for you. My good friend was a mechanic. We hung out for 35 years. I still remember him explaining the 4 strokes of an engine. Yeah. And I'm going to do that. I was thinking about it today and I was like, sometimes I can teach too far, because I think people know what I know. And like we were doing the other night and somebody said, what's a TPS? And I was like, I should need to explain that stuff because it's just common knowledge to me and to other people. It's not. So I think there's a need for that, like more. And that's what I enjoy anyway, is teaching new people that don't really understand. And I can teach ignition systems and like you were saying, how an engine works. I can bring it down to a really simple level. And I seen a really good video today and they said, with your channel, what you want to be doing is teaching your 16-year-old self. Look back and think about, how would you have explained that to you when you were 16 or 17 or, whatever. Make it very simple. So I'm going to do that on Tuesday nights. And I don't know, what do you guys think about the whiteboard thing? It's kind of generic. But man, a whiteboard's a good way to teach because you can make drawings and stuff. And you don't have to have all this fancy. You can do it on the cuff. It doesn't have to be planned ahead of time. But I thought about just doing a whiteboard and just teaching, do a basic automotive teaching about ignition systems. A good one to learn. I mean, because if you learn ignition systems, you can work on a lot of stuff. Skeletor, do you like the whiteboards? Oh, you put it in the kitchen today? How cool is that? Yeah, yesterday, that's all I did was, man, my back is toast today. I got up this morning. I've been up since 1. My girlfriend went to work really early this morning. Our hair just need the basics. They need to learn the simplest. You can overwhelm a lot of people if you get too in depth with tech. Okay, yeah, thanks for that. That's kind of what I was thinking. I got to remember that people that come here, maybe they're not, as exposed that a lot of. Yeah, I kind of thought that was. I wasn't sure. Remarkable. There's other ways to do it, like you can do SketchUp and that kind of stuff, but you have to plan it ahead of time. And I like to be able to list like, oh, I think of something and just go, P Power Products. Good morning. Say hi. I have to head out to work. Hope all is well. All right. Probably bad. Yeah, it's probably a bad time. We're going to stay, just so you know, we're going to start doing lives Monday, Tuesdays, Fridays. Monday, we're going to do motorcycles. Tuesday, I'm going to teach. And then on Fridays, we'll do the trivia. What's your channel about? All automotive. I'm an ASC certified master mechanic for 40 years. And everything we do is all automotive for the most part. Some tool stuff. Once in a while, we'll drop a little thing about how to operate a tool or something. But I need one. I can never find one when I need one. I'm a mentor, Sophia. Ever need advice? Yeah, that's the thing. We're getting a few guys in here that have some skills, and it's nice to be able to have. How's the audio, by the way? I changed up my mic. I'll move the mic. I did a bunch of research on my sound, and they said you should have your mic as close as you can get it, but I didn't want to blare people out. So audio decent? Okay, Power Product says it sounds good. So I'm gonna probably bite the bullet and go ahead and I'm gonna pay for the subscription to StreamYard so we can have multiple cameras and we can have people come on as guests. So I'm gonna probably do that this weekend more than likely. They got a free thing you can do where you can try it a couple months and see how you like it. I might do that. I'll give you guys an update on my eye, like you really care, but About 10 months ago, the reason I tell people this is so they don't have the same problem I had. About 10 months ago, I started getting really blurry in my one eye, and I thought it was my glasses, and I went into see the optometrist, and he goes, "No, you got something going on." And okay, good. He goes, "You got something going on." He goes, "You got some kind of tragedy to your eye." And I'm like, "What are you talking about? I haven't hit it or nothing." Is that a bit? I'm not sure what you're talking about, Easy. And so anyway, long story short, man, it got really bad. I mean, I got up one morning and I closed my right eye and I couldn't see nothing out of my left eye, just blurry and all this black stuff. And I was like, oh crap, something's wrong. So they were putting me off at the eye doctor saying it might get better. So I went in and they sent me to a specialist, and the guy goes, "You got to go in for surgery tomorrow." He goes, "You've torn your retina on your eye." And I go, "You got to be kidding me." Hey, welcome to the channel, all you new guys that just dropped in. We're an automotive channel, but we shoot the breeze a little bit in the mornings, having coffee. Anyway, I was telling a story about my eyeball. Anyway, long story short, I had to go in for surgery, man. And it cost me $5,000 because I didn't have insurance at the time, and I didn't have the money, man. I was like, holy moly, So anyway, I got my eye, I went through surgery, blah, 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 the whole 9 yards. And they told me when I had surgery, in about a year, you're going to get a cataract probably for sure, 100% on that eye. Sure as shit, man. About a month ago, my eye starts getting blurry again. So I went in and talked to the eye doctor. And he says, yeah, he goes, "You're going to need to go have that cataract removed now." It's 4 days by camel to get to a hospital here. Bad style. What are you talking about? I'm not sure what this guy's talking about. Bad style. Okay, whatever. I like my style. Anyway, so I got to go in again, and what surprised me was the first time it was $5,300, and it was major surgery. They had to go in and reattach my retina. So they told me the cataract. I was thinking, oh, probably, I have, and then I didn't have insurance in, but now I do. And I was thinking, oh, it's probably only going to be like $500, no big deal. So I go in there, and it's $2,500. My cost. Just to do the cataracts over $7,000, man. So, God, I was like, man, I can't afford that right now. And I don't have a Camel, Toyota Sienna, or Honda Odyssey. I need a van for my kids. Definitely Honda Odyssey. I've dealt with a few of those Toyota Siennas, and they kind of fall apart after you get some miles on them. All the door panels come apart, and my daughter had one and she had nothing but problems with them. Honda makes a really good product. Yep. Tinfoil hat. Where are you from? Yeah, Honda makes a pretty exceptional product, in my opinion. They're very dependable. They hold their value well. They're not the easiest to work on, so if you have to work on it, if I had the difference between a Toyota and a Honda, I'd go with Toyota. But the Sienna van, no, I wouldn't. I'd think twice. The Nissan El Grande. Yeah, I'm not so sure about all the vans. I know back in the day, man, I used to like that Dodge Caravan because it was so easy to work on. You could get to the engine and everything. But Honda makes a good product, man. They really do. Their products are substantial. You got my recommendations for an engine swap on my 5.4 Triton. It's a work. I've been looking at a 6.8 or just a 12 valve. Man, I don't know. That 5.4 is hard to beat. That's a good motor. I got a 5.4 in my 150. Man, it's a good motor. We've had that 5.4 in a fleet of trucks where I work. We've had no problems with them, very little problems with them. But an engine swap, where are you at? Diesel swap Civic, where are you at? If I was going to do a diesel motor in that, I would do a 7.3 for sure. Yeah. Just try it on the Honda Odyssey. Just look around and see if you can find something low mileage. You're going to pay a little more. You live in Virginia. Yeah, you're going to pay a little more for a low mileage one, but just be patient and look around and try to find one that's got low miles on it. And it doesn't really have to be, because Hondas will go 300,000-400,000. But if you're going to spend the money, you might as well be patient and just go look at a bunch of them. You'll know when you see the one that's a good deal. You know, I tell people, don't buy the first vehicle you look at, because a lot of people do that. You just got to go and you go see 5, 6, 7, and you'll see the one and go, oh, this is the one, man. Paint looks good, you know. It's got low miles on it. The interior, usually a good indication that on a good vehicle is somebody has all the records. That means they've been maintaining it. You ask somebody, hey, do you have all the records for the vehicle? And they don't have any. It usually means they don't maintain it very well. Do a Nissan van here, V6, like a limousine inside. Central Texas, appreciate the advice. Yeah, you know, I'm not sure what you're wanting to swap, diesel swap Civic, if you're wanting to go from gas to diesel. But man, I tell you what, yeah, 5-liter HO, that'd be a good one for a gas rig, huh? The 5.8 is a good motor too, but I just have a hard time believing there's a better motor than that 5.4. Man, I got one. It's been a great motor. And like I said, I've worked on a lot of those 5.4s, and we have a fleet of them. Like they're all in the Expedition patrol cars, the cop cars. Expedition, those guys drive them hard, man. And we've had really no problems with them. A few little problems, like the 4-wheel drive engagement on those it's kind of weird. They got like a vacuum operated deal, and if it gets a vacuum leak, it wants to keep trying to engage the 4-wheel drive. It makes a really funny noise. I took it to Mitsubishi Express. It's funny how some of these newer cars, man, they just go forever. You know, they do. There's some dependable cars out there now. I still like the old stuff. A Subaru Impreza, the body holds up well, but that suspension, everything else is falling apart. Yeah, Subaru. I've always been a fan of Subaru. You know what I always was amazed at with Subaru? It's the early Subarus that had a little push rod motor in them before they went to the timing belt engine. They were timing chain push rod motor. I never seen a motor that you can turn the idle down as far as you can on those Subarus. I actually turned one down as far as I could one time, and it would idle at 300 RPM. I've never seen a car idle at 300 RPM. I'm usually the last owner of my cars. You beat them up, huh, Maggot? I heard the heads on the 5.4s are really shitty, and they're prone to blow the spark plug straight out. We've had a few of those do that. Not a lot of them, but it's actually a pretty easy fix. When they blow the plug out like that, it's a really easy fix. They have a tool. You just go in there and you run it down there and you tap the hole, and then you put the plug back. There's a little insert that goes in there. But yeah, you're right. They do blow the plug out once in a while. Not a lot though. It's not really common, but they can do that. Blow the plug out of the hole. You know what it is when it comes in. It's pretty loud. Yeah, the Triton. I just been really happy with the 5.4 in my pickup. I mean, I've towed with it and I've driven it. It's got about 150 on it now, but man, it's a dependable truck. It's never broke down. It has never broke down. And I've drove it all the way to I take it to Arizona quite a few times, to go see my daughter. Anyway, on my eye, another $2,500, $7,000. I'm gonna have $12,000 in this freaking eye. I'm about ready to just put a bandage on it, like you said, Maggot. I can't afford that right now, man. Anyway, I was thinking about we might push this into a podcast. our views have dropped off. There was some of the first ones we did, we got like 5,000 views, and I didn't have it monetized. I didn't understand, because when you do it through StreamYard, you can't toggle the monetize. So you have to you know how you guys are getting a notification that there's one coming up? That's what you got to do to turn on the monetized part of it. So I figured that out now. Somebody was on here the other day that said they were from Colorado. Was that one of you guys? Because I'm going to send my motor for my bike to this guy named Dragon Man. He lives in Colorado Springs. And I've always loved the 360. The Dodge motor. I'd like to get me another big block, like a big block Dodge with a 440 in it. People forgot what big cars feel like. You know, all these, do you remember the Dodges? You could get in the front seat and have two people sitting up front and an ice chest sitting in between you. They're just boat cars, man. They don't build them like that anymore. What brand of Whipple supercharger should put in my 19 Jeep SRT? You guys want to try to answer that? I don't think I can. I'm not into the supercharger thing. Crafts Organic, he might be able to give you a good answer on that. I'm not sure. A 19. I've always liked turbos as opposed to superchargers. I know superchargers come on fast route. Man, turbos are just a neat. I always thought turbos were the neatest concept for producing horsepower, because you take available horsepower that you're just dumping out the exhaust and you turn it into horsepower. You know, I always thought turbos were cool, just the way it's done. You know. It's just kind of cool how they just took something that was already there and turned it into horsepower. And superchargers, you know, I don't know about the new ones, but, you know, they're gear driven or belt driven, and that can become a problem sometimes. I've seen races where they blow the belt off the supercharger, and then they dump, you know, they lose because they lost the belt or the gears in the supercharger. Ford 360 and a 77 F-153 on the tree. Yeah. Ford makes some good motors, man. I like the 390 in the old pickups, like in the late 50s, they made some pickups with a 390 and a 4-speed. Man, those things were head jerkers. My brother knocked the back window out of his truck with a 390 with a guy sitting over there. He whacked the back of the windshield, the back glass, and knocked the glass out of the truck with his head. I don't like the sound of a turbo. You know what's a crazy car? That Nissan 370 I had, it sounded like it had a turbo on it, but it didn't have one. It was just the way it sucked the air in. It was naturally aspirated, but man, you jump on that thing and it sounded like there was a turbo under the hood. I know a lot about forced induction. Centrifugal superchargers are my favorite. Really? I've never built nothing like a race car type car, you know. I have some friends that have some. You know, I know a guy that's all he did was race. Yeah, the 460. Yeah, that was a big motor, huh? I remember doing heads on those things. I remember doing heads on those 460s as a mechanic, and this was before they had those topside creepers. We'd get up there and put a fender cover on the fender and put the head up there, and then get up there on our knees, man, on the crossover where the radiator sits, and grab that head and set it in place. I don't know how I did that. There's no way I could do it now. Then I started setting them in with a cherry picker. But I used to be a beast, man. Not no more. Have F-100 here. Last 2 years, we've got all the trucks, Chevy, Dodge, Ford trucks. The new trucks are crap, man. how long it take me to grow my beard out. I've had a beard since I was 19. So I don't know. If I shave it off, it only takes like a couple months probably. But I don't know, hair on my head, so that's probably why. It all goes in my beard. I got a 20 Tacoma TRD. What you think of them? Actually, that Tacoma's a good truck, man. My daughter has one. Toyota makes a good product. We get rid of this guy. Ding, ding. Gone. Yeah, I'm trying not to get excited about crazy people on here now. I don't think it helps the algorithm. 4-cylinder turbos. Yeah, a lot of the Fords now have these, like, are they turboed or supercharged? They're turbo, but they're really wimpy looking, you know. But they get some power out of them. They're kind of weird. They don't have. Oh yeah, they're turboed, and they're non-oiled shafts, man. They don't run oil in the shafts. Like a plastic housing. It's crazy. They do some EcoBoost. Yep, you're right. EcoBoost, Andrew Tate. That's what it is. Yeah, it's kind of like you look at it and it's like, what is that? It doesn't look like it doesn't look like no turbo, but they get some power out of them. But we got a bunch of them they haven't had any problems with them, but man, they don't look like something that would. Ford's products are, man, about 50% plastic now. Everything on them, the intake manifolds, everything on those trucks now are plastic. All the panels, I mean, I get cut all the time working on those trucks from the plastic. Yeah. Yeah, I think, the only way you're going to get that anymore, Tate, is build you something old. That's what I did. You know, I've been doing this for 40 years and I have the ability to work on computer controlled cars, but I don't want to. I got a 71 Chevy pickup, a 73 Mercury Comet. My bike's carbureted. The only vehicle I have that's computer controlled is that F-150 because I got a really good deal on it. That's the only reason why I bought it. Cool. Gotta have a tough car. Yeah, I'll bet, Maggot. Yeah, you know which ones will last after you've been out there beating them on the roads for a while, for sure. What else did I got to tell you guys about today? Pretty much that was it. Man, the filming on that, I did a video. I'll probably going to take me 2 or 3 days to drop the video, but I videotaped that whole job I did yesterday, resealing the return lines on that 7.3. I pulled all the injector lines off. I don't know if you guys ever done one of those. You better pay attention to where you pull those lines off. I learned that the hard way a long time ago. I write them down as I take them off and go back in reverse order. Because, man, I had a guy one time, and I always write on the line which side goes the injector, because you can get confused on them. Like, man, which way does that thing go? And they're hard to get to. So if you get one on wrong and you get all the way to the end, you got to go back and take them all back off. So anyway, I had a guy one time at the shop. I walked by him and he had all the lines just stacked in a big pile in a cart. And I go, "Did you mark those?" And he goes, "No, I just took them off." I said, "Oh man, you're going to have fun going back. Those things are tricky going back, and you got to know what I marked the injection pump, and then you can go to the manual. It'll give you a picture and all that and shows you all that." Well, little bitty turbo. Yeah, they're tiny, but they're pretty efficient and they don't have a lot of problems with them. I don't know. I'm not a fan of Ford products. The new Fords to me are just piles. I mean, I've worked on them, so that's why I say that. is that, I'm not, the engines and the drivetrains are decent, but everything else about them is junk, man. The panels, everything is so light duty and plasticky. And I mean, in 10 years, man, everything on that truck's going to snap apart because it's all brittle. And some of the stuff on the Ford, you take it apart the first time and it breaks. I took a rear tail light assembly out here a while back. I couldn't believe it. Was it on? I think it was on a Tahoe. Yeah, it was on a Tahoe. I had to take the rear assembly out. And it was weird how it went together. It didn't make sense. And when I did it, I broke this little plastic piece. Just a little bezel thing. So I was thinking, it's probably 30, 50 bucks, whatever, So I turn into the parts guy, go, hey, find out how much that thing is, because I'm kind of curious. He goes, you're not going to believe it. I'm like, what? He goes, that thing's almost 300 bucks. It's like $250. Like, you gotta be kidding me. It's just a little piece of plastic. It was just a little bezel with a couple clips on it. It was like over $200. Yeah, that Ford made some nice products. I mean, they made some cool cars, back in the day. The Ford Fairlane, the 500, that was my first car. And then, you guys ever seen what a Maverick? What do they call it? There was like an upgraded Maverick. It was called a Grabber, Maverick Grabber. Nice little car. Yeah, that Falcon, those early Falcons, I always thought they were neat, but they always had a little 206 in them. Most of them, little tiny motor. They were fun to pull the motor out and put a small block 302 in. I have a 73 Comet in the backyard that's my daughter's, and I need to do some work on that thing. It is really a neat car. I've always wanted to put a 4-speed and upgrade the camshaft and put like a Hall effect ignition system in it. Yeah. You know what, though? When I went to work for this place where I work, I had worked on GMs forever. And when I went to work there, I was like, oh, man, I'm going to be doing Ford drivability every day. And I was like panicked kind of because I knew GM really well. And I don't know if you guys ever worked on GM compared to Ford, but GM was really good at writing out their troubleshooting charts were great. They made sense, and Ford was like all over the place. But once I started working on the Fords for about 6 months, it wasn't any different than GM. Cyclone. From 91 to 95. Yeah, you know what, though? I'm trying to think. This last couple years, when I went back to work where I worked at, they used to have a policy that they didn't buy imported cars. They had to be American made. And nobody makes a sedan now. Ford and GM, they don't make a sedan. So they had to start buying Toyota Corollas and stuff because they didn't have an option anymore. Yeah, I'm not really familiar. That's a thing, I'm not really familiar with a lot of the newer cars anymore because the only thing I really do to the new stuff is I'm building them, so I'm taking them from a brand new car into a police car. But I do a lot of, I'm only working part-time, part year now. So I'm only working like 800 hours a year now or less. I did 900 last year, and this year I'm going to do even less because the way my retirement is, and they were trucks from early 90s. They beat Ferraris and Corvettes. Those pickups. I know a lot of people are taking those little the S10s and stuff and building little hot rods out of them. And S10s used to be the biggest pile around, but now people are building them into hot rods. You know, the one that's kind of surprised me in the last few years are those Jeep YJs, the Cherokees. Man, they've gone up in popularity and cost too. I can remember people almost give you one. If you've ever had to pull a radiator out of one of those things, you'd know why. You got to pull them out of the bottom. They're a pain in the butt, man. 484 Silverado. Yeah, you know what? Chevy made some nice trucks, man. All this stuff, the transmission issues they have with them now, they have a lot of tranny problems. You know, I don't know. Just all the newer stuff is just the thing is, it's just getting more and more complicated, and it's becoming more and more expensive for people to own them. Because everything you do, you got to take to the dealer to have it worked on now. You know, nothing can be worked on, you know, at home. That's why I encourage my grandson, you know, he was talking to me and I said, I wouldn't buy a newer truck. I'd buy something older and put 20,000 in it. Then you have something. Maggot XB and Max 1 are mostly the stupid 8-speed and 12 speeds. Yeah, I don't understand all that. And you know what? Do you guys remember the day when the transmissions were pretty basic, man? You had like 5 trannies. You had the Torque Flight, Turbo 350, Turbo 400, and then the C6 and, you know, C4, and you could get them done for almost nothing. But now a lot of the shops don't even rebuild transmissions anymore. They just R&R them. They don't even waste their time, because it's so hard for them to keep anything on the shelf that's ready to go, you know, and they're so complicated now. It costs so much money to keep a guy trained up to tear those down and rebuild them in a pretty fast 600 hours under. You don't have to file for any taxes. Yeah, but I got to file anyway because I get retirement. So I have to file. It doesn't matter. Right now, it's a weird deal. So like, I'm what they call a retired annuitant. So I can come back and I work back for the same place I work for, and I get my retirement and I get my pay, but I can only work 960 hours in a calendar year. But then when my Social Security starts, after you make $23,000, every dollar you make over 23,000, they take a half a dollar. Is that a great deal? You work your whole life for Social Security, and they say, well, if you make over 23,000, we're going to take every dollar you make, we're going to take a half a dollar back. So I got to be careful, because then I end up working when I could not be working and let them pay me. It's stupid, man. Vista Inline 6 4-liter. Yep, you know what though? That 4-liter is a bulletproof little motor, man. I can see why they like them. They're you know what's a little 4-wheel drive a lot of people don't look at, and it's a really dependable and capable little rig, are those Nissan Pathfinders. We had a couple of those Pathfinders. Man, they were good rigs, man. Good 4-wheel drive. KISS method. Yep. I've heard that before a lot of times. Learning automotive. My instructor used to use that term almost every day. Keep it simple, stupid. Can convert to simpler, make it simpler. Yeah, for sure, man. That's why I like these older rigs. Like, I'm a little leery. I was thinking about selling my 71 Chevy pickup so I could finish these other projects I have, because I got that IDI I want to finish, and I want to build that other Harley. And I thought about selling my 71 Chevy pickup, but I was like, I hate to get rid of that, man, because, you know, it's just so easy and simple, and, you know, it's old school. You know, it's still got point ignition in it. So I'm going to mess around with maybe doing a podcast. I did some podcasting here a while back, or a few years ago, and it went pretty good. But I think, man, if we got a few people that were like what we're doing right here, if this was more audio, I think it'd make a really good podcast because you get people from all different, backgrounds. Like four-wheel drivers, and then guy like Maggot, he's done some motorcycle racing, and then all that, saying you could do any gig work as long as it's under 600. You can do straight cash. Yeah, I'm trying to get out of wrenching, man. I'm tired of wrenching. I've been doing it for 40 years. Yesterday when I got done, man, I was like, God, I'm beat. I'm not 25 anymore. I like doing it still, though, and I got that job. It took me like twice as long as it should have. And that's what gets me, is like when I'm trying to do the videoing, I have a hard time slowing down because I just want to get it done. And then I'm like, man, I got to get this shot. Nobody's going to understand what this is about, So you got to stop and show them how to, like how to get the O-rings off the injectors, And I jabbed myself in the finger yesterday with one of those, with a pick. I should have just snipped them. I had this little tool. It's like a really sharp little screwdriver. And that's what I usually use. I just go in there and go clink and then cut them in half. So you have to drag them up off the top. But I was being lazy and I was like, I'll just do it with this scribe. And I was doing that. And the thing slipped off there and I jabbed that scribe in the end of my finger. My girl was standing out there and I said a few choice words. She goes, "What are you saying?" And I just said it again. I said, "I just stabbed this thing into the end of my finger, man. Go away. I don't want to talk to you right now." I know you guys hurt yourselves before working on cars. I'll tell you one, man, that I did that I'll never forget for as long as I live. You know what a hose hook is? It's like a hook that you slide underneath the hose and you run it around and it breaks the seal on the hose so you can get it off. Well, I was using one of those one time and the very tip had broke off, and stupid me think I would take the time to go over there and sharpen it, but I was in a hurry and I had this hose and it was stuck, man. I was trying to get that hose hook underneath there. It was cold, we was working, it was wintertime and we had no heat in the shop I was working in. And I was pulling on it and that dang thing slipped off the end of that hose. And I crammed that freaking hose hook under my thumbnail all the way to as far as it would go. And dude, man, you don't know pain until you shove a freaking, a 1/8-inch tool under your fingernail. When I did that, I go, I know why they used to use that for torture. Now that hurts a lot. I never forgot that, man. I was like, every time I see somebody using one of those hose hooks, I say, get your other hand out of the way. You'll be sorry if you don't. 600 hours. Yeah, for me, yeah, exactly. 600 hours, yeah. I'm trying to figure out, I just don't want to give them my money back, That's the thing. I'm going to have to start a business so I can start writing off all these expenses like my camera gear and my, part of my mortgage on my house for the business and stuff, because that's how people that are business people make so much money, is they know how to use the tax code correctly. And you can write off a lot of stuff. Need to text right off. Yep. Yeah. I was retired for 5 years, man. Yeah. I was retired for 5 years, and then I had to go back to work, and now I'm right back to chasing that freaking dollar again. Freaking hate it. I thought I was done. I'm not. This might be my last year working punching a clock though, because I'm going to file for my Social Security at 62, and I'll be 62 in October. Yeah, it can. Yeah, small farming. That's an interest of mine. It really is. Actually, you know what I'm going to do next year? I'm going to actually try to maximize my property for that and see what it does for me. Because I got 1/3 of an acre. It's a city lot, but I mean, I'm going to see if I can make an extra 20,000 next year doing that. Because I enjoy it, you know. But the YouTube thing, you can make some really good money. You know, I'm working my way through this YouTube thing, you know. I'm going to start creating some coursework and Shopify stuff so we can start selling products and tools and merchandise and that stuff. And then try to start doing some consulting and that kind of stuff and I can teach too. You know, I could go start doing automotive teaching, electrical and troubleshooting and that kind of stuff. But Tuesday nights, so I'm going to start doing that. I'm going to just do like a 1 hour, just try to keep it to an hour or 2 hours and do some teaching and see where that takes us on the lives. And maybe put a little effort into the podcasting. The thing is, my time, I have a lot of time on my hands right now because I'm not working. But as soon as I go back to work in like 3 more weeks, it makes for a long week for me when I'm doing the YouTube and doing the lives and working. But you just got to grind it out, man. Sometimes in life, man, life can be hard. You just got to go. You just got to do it. You know, do it while you can. I'm always telling my grandson, man, get out there and do something, man. Don't waste time. Time is not your friend. I'm going to try do 1 hour this year. Any more than that could affect me. Maggot, you're funny, man. Yeah, I wish. I kind of enjoy doing this, though. You know, I enjoy the lives. I enjoy talking about automotive because I've done it for so long. You know, it comes natural. But I see, like, as the newer cars coming in, my content is kind of outdated a little bit because you get new people that are coming in that are talking about cars 2000 and newer. And unless you're in the loop, you know, working on them every day, you get out of that loop. But, you know, the old stuff never goes out of style. Well, that's I got a project today, man. You see this chair? It's driving me crazy, man. It sits too low. So today I'm going to take the base of this chair off. I'm going to put 4 inches of lift on. I'm going to lift my chair. I'm going to make a 4-wheel drive out of it. I got to get to the greenhouse, a few hours of work before harvest, pre-harvest, clean up. Shit in the morning, man. All right, Kraft. Hey, thanks for showing up today. Appreciate it, man. Enjoy your harvest. Nothing better than harvest time, right? How long have I been on here today? Let's see what it says. I don't even know what it says. 54 minutes. So I was going to devote an hour to this morning because I got stuff I got to get done. And I got up at 1 o'clock this morning, man. I'm beat. I got a lot to get done today. Maggot, you're about ready for bed, aren't you? What's it, about 7, 8 o'clock your time? I'm wanting to get that truck moved today so I can get my boat moved into the driveway so somebody doesn't steal it. So I'm going to move the truck out. I got no brakes on that truck either. It's 10 o'clock. Yeah, that's what I thought. So if we do 7 p.m., that'll still work for you, huh? Because you've been coming to the lives on Fridays, huh? Probably what we're going to start. I'm going to do Monday, Tuesday, Fridays probably soon. 3 nights a week. Monday, We'll see how the motorcycle thing goes. If it doesn't go well, we'll change it up and do something different. But Tuesdays I'm going to try to teach, and then Fridays we'll keep doing the trivia as long as we get some people coming in and doing it. We might have to change up the trivia, make it more exciting somehow. I'm not sure how. I thought the giving away the tools was a great idea. It just takes, who's your worst enemy when it comes to these lives is that little thing up there that tells you how many people's in the room. I should take a little piece of tape and put over that, because I did a live. I have another channel, and I did a live over there. And then I said, you know what? I'm not going to look at that thing through the whole thing. I'm just going to talk like I'm talking to 150 people. And I just did that for an hour, and I got a couple subscribers, so that was cool. So we're going to do YouTube growth stuff over there on that other channel, teach people how to do their own channel and stuff. But man, it's hard enough to run one channel. I don't know if I can pull off two. I might only be able to do it like once a week or something. Because I tell you, like yesterday, I spent, about 5 hours doing that repair, and I videotaped the whole thing. And now today I'm going to have to sit down and edit all that. And that could take like 3-4 hours. Guys that started YouTube had 40 people post videos. They gave up. Yeah, that's why I say just grind it out, man. Don't, and I had a channel like 20 years ago when YouTube first started. If I would have stayed with that, I'd be swimming in money right now. I didn't stay with it, but because I was working, I was trying to do YouTube on the side, and I had a big reptile collection, like huge reptile collection. And I was really knowledgeable about it. And now I see some of the guys that I used to hang around with, reptile wise, and they're big time. They're making $500,000 a year selling reptiles, because YouTube, man, it just gives you so much exposure. A friend of mine, he had a real not small, he had a pretty good sized collection. And I had the Wall Street Journal get a hold of me, and they said, hey, we want to come do a story on your reptiles. And I said, well, what are you looking for? And he said, well, we're trying to show how, the reptiles have become such a great investment because people are making like big money on them. And I said, I got a buddy. He has a way better collection than I do. He'd be better off to give him the interview. And so I hooked him up with the Wall Street Journal, and man, his business exploded. They took away his Social Security over it, but he wasn't happy about that. Social Security got a hold of him and said, it appears that he has a very successful business because he was on the Wall Street Journal. Yeah, do you know the story behind eBay? That's a neat story. You know how eBay got started? And I have a good story about a brewery. If you ever heard of Sierra Nevada Brewery, so they're as big. They're getting as big as Coors and Budweiser. They're huge now. But they started their brewery in their garage, brewing weekend beer and giving it away to their friends. And now they got a $1 billion industry from just working out in their garage. But anyway, eBay started. A guy, his wife used to collect those, those little Paz dispensers where you go like that and a little piece of candy comes out. His wife collected those, and he was trying to figure out a way, how could he, find more of them? And he started just a little website, saying, we buy these Paz dispensers. And so that she was able to contact people all over the world, that way. And that's how they started eBay, was started with some woman's collection. When we got to Australia, Dad made a long suite out of orange crates and upholstered it. A lounge sweat out of orange crates and upholstered it. Your dad seems like he was a pretty interesting guy. He's still around though, right? That's cool. He sounds really interesting. He probably taught you a lot, didn't he? That's the thing, man. Dads don't teach their kids anything anymore. They're so busy watching football. that they don't take, I'm not saying all dads, but there's a lot of them now that they don't teach their kids anything. I don't know, man. The information highway has stopped when it comes to teaching our children things. I made my girls learn, man. I had 2 girls, but I made them learn. I made them change a tire. I made them come out there and wrench with me, hand me stuff, run an impact gun. I made them do all that stuff. I don't regret it. They know more than their husbands most of the time when it comes to like trying to figure stuff out. Okay, brother, I'm going to call it a day. I got stuff to get done. I'm dragging butt. I'm going to get out there and get the rest of that diesel pickup put together so I can get my boat moved in. I want to work on that boat. I'm excited about getting that boat running. Oh, that's something I should have talked about tonight. I'll talk about it next time. But that boat, man, I'm having a hard time figuring it out because it's got a 40 horse on it and it says Elgin. And then when I look it up, people are saying that Elgin was produced by Scott and McCullough. But then when I look up McCullough, I don't see a 40 horse. So I got to do some research. I entered one of these Facebook groups about vintage boats because I have a feeling I'm going to have a hard time finding parts for it. If it's a McCullough motor, then I should be able to find pieces for it. I need to find like probably a water pump impeller, more than likely, and maybe a set of points. I'm going to pull the flywheel off and see what kind of condition the points are in. But anyway, I got compression to it. It has good compression. I got the coils to spark the fire. So I think once I get some fuel to it, it should start. So we'll see in the next couple of days if that thing's going to run. Yeah, 3 weeks. That's what I'm talking about. That's what we don't teach our kids anymore, man. We don't teach them how to be like face your fears and just go do it. Now everybody's, oh, don't do that. You might do this. You might do that. You know what, man? I did all that stuff when I was a kid. I'm still here. I did there's some things I probably shouldn't be here, but I made it. These kids don't know how to explore or nothing anymore. They don't explore. You don't see them outside riding bicycles. You don't see them running down the creeks with their fishing poles. Some places you do. Like out there where my grandson is in Tennessee, you see a lot of kids out running around fishing and stuff. But like where I live, you don't see kids on bicycles. It's the weirdest thing for me. We see 50-year-old guys riding bicycles. You don't see kids riding bikes. Kids don't ride bikes anymore. You never see them. Matter of fact, when I see one, I point it out. I go, look, there's a kid on a bike. Amazing, man. It's just they're so busy in the house doing this with their phone and their like computer games. Their brains are mush by the time they get to be 16. They don't know nothing. They have no skills. They can't go to work nowhere. They can't find a job because they don't know anything. It's just the craziest thing I ever seen. Guys like us are, man, few and far between. We're a lost breed. They don't make them like us anymore. You heard that song, I'm the last of my kind? I'm feeling that way. I'm the last of my kind that actually is not afraid to get callus on his hand. We got dudes in women's tennis clothes riding along the road. I know, man. It's crazy the way things have gotten to be. Especially for our kids, man. Like my grandkids, I think about what's their life going to look like when they get to be 40? Are they all going to be on government subsistence because they can't even think for themselves? Can't problem solve for anything without a phone or their mom and dad showing them, doing it for them? That's a big part of it is parents now have gotten to be where they can't stand back and let their kids fail. I used to let my kids fail. I mean, I wouldn't let them fail forever, but I would stand back and let them try until they got to the point that they were frustrated. And I would say, hey, try this, do this. or that. But I wouldn't just jump right in there right away and go, oh, you got to do it like this and like this and like that and like that. No, I'd let them kind of try to figure it out on their own. And we forgot how to let our kids figure things out. And man, when they get to be 30 years old, you know, what are they going to be, man? They're going to be slaves to the system, you know? Anyway, I'm going to check out. I'm going to go. My girl ought to be getting home pretty soon. She got off early. One world income. Yeah, I always wonder what's going to happen when that internet crashes, man. We're as bad here we are on our computers doing this stuff, but we've been forced into this. You know, this is how people make income now. It's the internet. You know, it's actually a good thing for older people, but man, young people, they just spend all their time doing this. I mean, every waking moment, they fall asleep with their phones in their hands, you know, and they wake up on their phone. I've had my grandkids here while I was like, put your phone away, man. I haven't seen your face in 3 days. I get so sick of looking at this. I told my one granddaughter, I said, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to take a picture of you and I'm going to glue it to the back of your phone so I can see what you look like. You know, I want to see your face and see you smile. I want to see your expressions. I don't want to look at the back of the phone all the time. They don't get it though. All right, man, I'm belling. Hey, thanks for hanging out today. Hopefully we can get some traction going pretty soon. We've been pretty light on viewers lately. I know the first about 3 or 4 we did, man, we had like 5,000 views. But I don't care. I'm just going to keep doing it. We'll keep grinding away until we'll be sitting or we'll be driving Ferraris, man. Later, dude. Take care.